So again, Petromax green grass paint, a lifesaver if you're the kind of person that wants to keep your investment in your lawn looking beautiful year round. Welcome to The Art of Gardening. I'm your host, Melissa Lala Johnson, and today we are going to specifically be talking about grass paint. So this, in my opinion, I've been doing this a while, and grass paint is really something that's come along to homeowners just in the last few years, specifically because our friends at PETRATOOLS have really been working to try and bring professional grade and quality products and applications to us homeowners. And it's actually pretty funny how this started with me, because I was going to a professional landscape supplier, and I was talking to them about how I was having some issues with some browning and some heat stress. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. It gets to be very hot here in the summers, and a lot of the cool season grasses will start to go dormant. So in talking to them, they recommended that what they use for, or what they sell primarily to golf courses at the time, is turf paint. And so using the turf paint, I did buy a container of turf paint from them. It was very expensive. I came home and applied it to the lawn, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I was hooked from that moment. However, it was very expensive. So it wasn't something that was attainable for me to be able to use to fix regularly. So in working with PETRATOOLS over the last few years, I'm very happy to see that grass paint is something that is a huge trend now. It's one of the most popular selling products that we have. And now this time of year, it's the perfect time to be using it. But I do want to also note that it's not only something that can be used in the heat of summer. I recently, it was the end of January, the beginning of February, I sprayed my completely dormant lawn that was brown when everything around here is brown. I sprayed my front yard and was able to get a beautiful green front yard that looked like it was spring. And it was great when I would have people come over, because they would come to the house and the first thing they would say is, why is your lawn so green? How is it so green? What did you do? So the grass paint is good for year round, and it can really help with a lot of different things. So we're talking about being able to mask heat stress, to mask dormancy in your lawn by some of the various blends of grass seeds and grass types that we use. And then also to be able to help us through the season to keep just a really good looking lawn. Also fixes pet spots and things like that. So the evolution of the grass paint started with just a little bit of heat stress, and now it is something that I can rely on to not have to water as much either. So watering 1 acre of grass, of turf grass in Kansas City regularly, and as it should be watered to be able to stay green all the time, will run you between $500 to $700 a month in the hottest months of the year. So this has actually really helped me in those areas that get blasted by the sun. I'm able to kind of hop in there and spray, and then I don't have the issues that I was having previously. So it's definitely worth every single penny of it. And, I always tell people too, if it's something you think that you can use from the things that you see online, there's lots of different things that we've done with PETRATOOLS on Petromax's page, which is the applications page. So all the different applications, liquid applications that they have, we test everything and run different reels and do things like that. So definitely check out that page if you want to see some more spraying videos and see some more before and afters of what the grass paint can do. And, you can start with something as simple as 32 fluid ounces. So this is the small one, and mix this up and then spray it. So I want to go through a couple different details about using the grass paint. So 1 gallon of water, you would mix up essentially 12 ounces of this into 1 gallon of water. For larger sprays, using 4 gallons of water, we're at 51 ounces. 10 gallons will be 1 gallon of grass paint. So you get 10 gallons of paint, which is way more than I would ever use on my property. I find that most times in this past year, I've used probably about 10 gallons in the whole season. So for one application, if you were doing like a very large area or a golf course, this would be perfect for that type of large application where you're spraying everything. So that when you're mixing it, you're mixing that in with the water. Be sure to wear proper shoes, clothes. This is a permanent dye. So if it gets onto your clothes or shoes or cement, rock borders, things like that, it will stain if it's left untouched. So it will stain if it's left alone. So you definitely want to be able to rinse that right off. And if I'm going to be applying around the rock borders, I'll spray the rock borders first with water and then spray the grass paint. If I get any drift, then I can spray it off easier than if the porous stone was dry and it just absorbs it. So I have my own separate pair of shoes that I use for grass paint that are now completely green. But the crazy part is I am always wearing tights and my tennis shoes. And so I always get that ring around the bottom of my feet and my hands sometimes if I'm not using gloves. And it washes off in the shower with a towel and water and soap and just wipe it off and it comes right off. So that is a benefit. It won't stain your skin, nails, things like that when you wash it off. So the grass paint in the applying motion, you're simply going to be spraying close to the grass, back and forth. Careful about wind because, like I said, it will carry through the wind and can stain things around it that you might not necessarily want to be green. So you're making a sweeping motion back and forth. And then what I do right before I'm finished with an area, if I'm treating just an area that I'm not going to treat all the way around, I'll kind of raise the wand and spray like a light spray around the perimeter. So it kind of just fades into the rest of the area. So it's very funny because in doing all of these videos and doing everything that I have been doing the last few years for PETRATOOLS, certain products really bring out the haters, and grass paint is one of them. So some of the most recent comments that I've received about grass paint, I want to go over them and then also debunk them because there is a lot of, I guess because this is a newer product and people aren't used to the makeup of it, they immediately think that something that can fix something so well and so quickly is bad or toxic or not environmentally friendly. And that's just not true. So another thing too that I pride myself on is doing things that are environmentally friendly to keep my yard and landscape looking its best. So I'm not dumping crazy chemicals and things like that. I've been there, done that a long time ago and learned that that is absolutely not the way to be doing things. So over the course of the last 3-4 years, I have been really, really cognizant of the chemical use on the property and everything that we are doing. And if I have to do something like use Roundup or something like that, it's specifically in targeted areas, targeted zones. So I just had to put that disclaimer out there. So one of my favorite comments, I can assure you, this is not treating your lawn like a golf course. Really? Actually, this came from the professional supply company, the original idea of doing turf paint. And they said that this is what they were selling to golf courses to keep them green through the heat of Kansas City stress. And I have spoken to numerous superintendents that say absolutely they use the grass paint because it is a non-toxic, environmentally friendly way to keep areas of the golf course green. So it's, like I said, it's really, really great stuff. So sorry, there are more important things to worry about these days than brown patches in your lawn. Well, if you're the kind of person that spends a ridiculous amount of time, energy, and financial resources on your lawn, trying to keep it looking good, keeping the grass growing, and that's the thing too. Everybody has their thing, right? For me, my thing is the grass and the landscaping, whereas someone else may feel very specific about a different type of hobby, and then they put all of their resources and everything towards that. That's what makes the world go around, people. So that being said, I enjoy looking at my yard and all the work over the last, we moved in here in 2011. So since then, when we moved in and it was bare dirt, being able to renovate this entire property and add thousands of plants and do everything that I've done, it's really important to me to keep it looking really good. So this is a way that I can do that without having to use natural resources like water and things like that to be able to keep everything green. So let's read the next one. It's really hard. It's really not that hard to have a healthy, weed-free lawn. Well, I will agree with some of that. Keeping the weeds out is relatively easy if you follow a proper program. However, it is really hard to keep a proper, beautiful looking lawn. It's definitely something that's not an easy task, and you have to be on top of it. There's all kinds of environmental factors that come into play with keeping a healthy lawn. And this is, like I said, a way that you can mitigate some of those things and just have a quick, easy fix for if you're just looking for spot treatment, or if you're looking for like someone like me, taking pictures, taking videos of my lawn. If I've got different problem areas, I can quickly spray it and none the wiser. It's not natural. I can't wait to respond to this one. I'm going to do that here in a minute. And why would I want fake grass that's probably toxic? not. It is not toxic. And this can't be good for the environment. So I did actually have a friend that wrote to us and said, when you're saying it's all natural, and I love these kind of comments, the constructive criticism that help us be better. He said, you're saying it's all natural. Can you explain that further? Because there's a lot of different meanings behind all natural. And I could not agree more. So that being said, if you are interested in learning more about the chemical makeup of grass paint, then I would strongly urge you to visit our PETRATOOLS.com page and look up grass paint. And on any of our products, there for the applications, there's an SDS sheet. And that SDS sheet is by law what we have to be able to provide with all of these different products, giving the different regulations that we meet and different chemical makeups and if anything's hazardous. So I had actually come up with this response in all of my different research. Because I know it's made of pigment-based dyes that are all natural, no different than your cosmetics or different personal care products, but not everybody else knows that. So this is a natural blend of pigments, surfactants, and emulsifiers. However, it is proprietary. So you can be referred to the SDS sheet that's listed on the product page at PETRATOOLS.com, which shows that it is natural as you review the various compliances to OSHA 29 CFR 1910.1200, which lists no ingredients as hazardous. This product does not contain any exposure limits that require disclosure according to OSHA Hazard Communication Standard 2012. No ingredients contained in our blend that are listed in SARA Section 355, 313, Prop 65 chemicals known to cause cancer, reproductive toxicity, or developmental toxicity, 0. No ingredients from the carcinogenic EPA list also. This also has a 0 rating for health, fire, or reactivity properties. It does not present an explosion hazard and is not self-igniting. This product will not irritate skin, has no adverse effects if inhaled. There's a low ingestion hazard and is not considered to be carcinogenic by IARC, ACGIH, NTP, or OSHA. Hazard classification, our product is classified according to the Globally Harmonized System, GHS, which mandates the accuracy of my statements right now and the labeling that's on the container. So of all of these different things, you can see there are no hazardous or dangerous chemicals in the grass paint. So another thing too, we've had people question, well, what if it gets on your skin or your pets? So recently, I will refer you back to the PetraMax page, because recently I had someone, now I know because I use this, that it's not going to come off on pets and things like that. So when I would spray, sometimes the dogs would walk through it or they would roll around in it. And my dog Bear, who is a cinnamon colored chow chow, would turn a light shade of green. It would go away after whatever, a few weeks or week, whatever. But I knew that it was fine, that it was, what I just listed above. However, I did have someone say, I've got cream colored furniture and I've got Pomeranians and this sounds like it would be a disaster. So when I saw that, I said, before I respond and say, this is fine, I'm going to actually do a real test. So I sprayed an area of the lawn, and 1 week later, I went back out onto the lawn and I wet the entire area down with the hose. And then I used a dry paper towel and I wiped the entire area of what had just been sprayed 1 week prior. And there was not even the slightest bit of a hint of green. And in my video, you can see that it is wet. I'm wringing the paper towel out at the end of it. So this is permanent once it is dry. And that's what I think the ticket is. If you are able to get this down and not have any rain or not have anything else that's going to keep it wet, once it dries, it most certainly is permanent. So again, PetraMax, green grass paint, a lifesaver if you're the kind of person that wants to keep your investment in your lawn looking beautiful year round. And like I said, I think even if you are someone that says, well, I'm going to deal with the heat stress, but maybe this is something you'd want to try in the winter. I think for someone like me, I deal with seasonal depression every single year. And so being able to do something like this, where I look out my front windows and everything is a beautiful color green mixed in with the browns and the off tones of winter, it really does look beautiful. And then it blends right into the spring when the spring popped around and all the grass emerged, everything looked really, really beautiful around here. So definitely check it out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for us. And I will definitely refer you yet again to PetraMax's page, where we have all these different products besides green grass paint, the mulch glues, and different products that can really help in your landscape to be set free of some of these struggles that we all deal with in the landscaping world. So check it out. If you have any questions, leave them for us. And thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.